Now on CoastTV News.
Another bacteria advisory. The coast getting pummeled by pollution this year.
Lanternflies have been washing up on shore. Why that might be.
And the 100th Chincoteague Pony Swim took place this morning. We bring you the sights and sounds from the majestic event.
And we have some pretty majestic storms on the way for Thursday and Friday. More about that coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Hot temperatures and dirty water. The coast not cooperating with summer beach plans.
Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with beach bacteria.
On your screen now is the swimming advisory posted by DENREC at Deauville Beach and Cape Henlopen State Park. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Rehoboth Beach at the Deauville Beach. Emma, we've seen this story before.
Christina, we've already had advisories like this earlier this summer, and even though the advisory here in this water at Deauville Beach was lifted around 3 p.m. today, beachgoers say they're still worried. The term fecal indicator bacteria isn't exactly a winning slogan. Some people we spoke with say it's just gross. It's happened again. A bacteria advisory along the coast, this time for Deauville and the main beach at Cape Henlopen State Park. Charles Mason and his wife were all set to hit the water today, but that changed.
Because last week it was jellyfish and bacteria level. This week, just bacteria level. So as beautiful as it is, yeah, we're a little disappointed, frankly.
The advisory officially went into effect on Tuesday. It lasted through midday Wednesday, and it was specifically for what's called fecal indicator bacteria. DENREC says that can come from various natural and human sources: stormwater, pet waste, even trash.
At the local swimming pool, yeah, when a kid has an accident, it's shut down. They have to shock it, everybody out of the water. Well, you're not going to be able to do that in the ocean, are you?
And that's why, to be clear, it's not mandatory to stay out of the water. Officials warn, though, chance it and you could get sick, especially if you are immunocompromised. This is a tale we've already told on CoastTV this summer. On your screen now is a map from just last week where the same advisories were in place at Herring Point Beach and Lewis Beach North. Plus, earlier this month, Rehoboth Beach faced a similar 24-hour swim advisory. Jonathan Anderson says the fact that this keeps happening worries him, but doesn't shock him.
There's a lot of pollution, a lot of runoff, so it's not surprising, right? You don't have as many fish, so you probably don't have the same ecosystem breaking things down, so it's not surprising. If anything, it's like, wouldn't there be more of it?
Meanwhile, with temperatures that feel upwards of 100 degrees and water you just don't want to wade into, this bacteria bummer is a 1-2 punch that makes it a little easier to pack up your beach stuff and head for that AC. And we did talk with some lifeguards earlier who say it did seem like fewer people were out in the water earlier, though they didn't know if it was the beach bacteria or the uptick in jellyfish stings that we've been seeing too. Reporting live here at Deauville Beach, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
And as Emma mentioned, this is just the latest in a string of beach advisories across Sussex County this summer. Elevated levels of bacteria have already caused some other advisories at Rehoboth, Lewis, and Cape Henlopen beaches earlier this month. DENREC says these spikes often follow after heavy rain when stormwater carries fecal bacteria from wildlife and other sources into the ocean. And while most beachgoers won't get sick, groups like young children, older adults, and those with weakened immune systems could find themselves at greater risk.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, lanternflies are an invasive threat to fruit, crops, and a lot of trees. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappé is live in Lewis. Kevin, these bugs are slowly popping up.
Charlie, we are here along the Lewis Beach, a place where these lanternflies have been popping up. Now, these bugs don't bite or sting people, but they do damage the crops and the trees in the surrounding area. Now, according to Strom Edwards, the Lewis Beach Patrol captain, he's seen around 30 to 50 lanternflies on the beach over the past week, and now they're being spotted along the coast. These flies are invasive and can multiply fast. But the Delaware Department of Agriculture is no longer asking people to report sightings, saying they are now all over the state of Delaware. Edwards believes he knows where they may be hiding in Lewis.
I think that they're landing on our dunes and planting their eggs or eating the plants, and they're just, when the wind changes, they're blowing into the bay.
If you end up seeing these lantern flies, officials say you should kill it. I'm Kevin Zapay, live in Lewis, Coast TV News.
If you were planning on heading over to the Milton Concerts in the Park performance tonight, change of plans. The event has been postponed due to the heat. The new date is set for Wednesday, September 24th at 6 p.m.
And that's going to take us right into this. Taking a live look into Milford right now as we go check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. And Paul, it has felt hot all day.
And not only that, but believe it or not, in conjunction with that story, we're expecting heavy downpours for Thursday to the point where we have concerns for flooding. So we may have another runoff situation pop back up again. In Milford, we're at 92. It's going to stay steamy till 84, clear skies by 9 o'clock. And here's what we're talking about, Charlie. We have a flood watch that's in effect for all of Sussex. This is going to kick in really for Thursday going into Friday. We're watching out for heavy downpours that's going to hit Thursday. That's going to cause more runoff with water. So that could complicate our situation that we already have at the beaches, which is bad enough in and of itself. We'll have more on that rain and the timing thereof. Until then, back to you.
Thank you, Paul. For 100 years, the Chincoteague Pony Swim has brought wild ponies from Assateague Island across the channel to Chincoteague, drawing thousands of spectators. What many don't know is it's all for a cause. Each year, the foals are auctioned off to raise money for the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company. As part of the Pony Penning Week, the ponies also get checked out by a veterinarian. A number of foals are auctioned off, though some buybacks stay with the herd, where people purchase naming rights, essentially. Along with raising money, the auction ensures the herd stays within its 150 pony limit, which is required per a federal permit.
And on your screen now is how the pony swim ends. Once the first foal crosses the Assateague Channel, they are crowned King Neptune.
This event draws people from across the country, and because it was the 100th year of the big event, it was, let's call it, extra special for some folks.
Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson shows us how visitors enjoyed the majestic event.
People walking in the marsh in the dark. The last leg of a journey for those attending the 100th Chincoteague Pony Swim.
And what time did you guys get out here this morning?
We parked at 4 and started walking across the marsh.
Rita Lodi and Rebecca Cedar came all the way from Minnesota for the week for a trip that's been a lifetime in the making. Lodi says she passed down her love of the famous Misty of Chincoteague book series to her daughter.
I read them out loud to her, and she read them on her own, and then she planned this trip in January and said, "Mom, you want to do this mother-daughter trip?" And I said, "Yes." Yeah, it's just like a dream. Yeah.
As the sun started to rise above the thousands in attendance, the Saltwater Cowboys were ready to guide the wild ponies across the Assateague Channel.
Celebrating our 100th anniversary of the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company.
And finally, the swim started just after 8 a.m. Charlie Evans and Jolene Cross are from Laurel, Delaware, and it's safe to say they're happy they didn't let this opportunity pass them by.
Just excited to see it, and I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime event for the two of us, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll come back again next year.
After the roughly 150 ponies made their swim across the Assateague Channel, they rested for around 45 minutes for all to see the majestic animals up close. After that rest, they walked right into a parade with the streets lined with locals and visitors alike, all for an event truly unique to Delmarva. In Chincoteague, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
And if you missed the pony swim this morning, don't worry. You can check out DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com to watch the whole swim.
And full disclosure, you will have to create a Delmarva Sports Network Plus subscription to watch the swim that way. And for a full guide of all pony swim activities, including the next few days, head to CoastTV.com. This brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what do you think the most iconic pony swim image is?
Looking at the results, 61% saying those ponies in the water, 22% with saltwater cowboys, 13% like the foals on the shore, 4% for the pony auction.
I like it all, but I did like the foals on the shore this morning. They were a little energetic. They're like, I don't know what's going on. This is so different. If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Delaware State Police have arrested 3 people on felony drug charges after a search warrant was carried out in Georgetown yesterday. Officers searched a home on Savannah Road following an investigation into suspected drug activity. During the search, 18 people were detained. Troopers say they found over $700 in suspected drug money, a small amount of crack cocaine, and dozens of prescription pills.
Well, all eyes have been on the Federal Reserve today. President Trump has been pressuring Fed Chair Jerome Powell to lower the rates for weeks, but that did not happen. As NBC's Garrett Hake reports, all of this comes as the August 1st tariff deadline looms and the president takes aim at India.
Despite the months-long bullying campaign from President Trump, today the Fed not budging, holding interest rates steady.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
For months, President Trump has pressured Fed Chair Jerome Powell, whom he appointed, calling him a, quote, numbskull and a dumb guy. The president insists the Fed should lower interest rates to help the housing market and boost Americans' purchasing power.
And we should be lowering the rates. You know, each point that this gentleman keeps up costs us $365 billion a year. It's all because of the Fed.
But the Fed still believes that could actually drive up inflation, holding off amid market uncertainty stemming from the president's global tariffs. This while the clock ticks down to Friday's August 1st trade deal deadline. With some trade agreements announced, several more need to get done.
If there's not a deal by August 1, I would encourage market participants, corporate America, even the countries, not to panic, because you can still do a deal.
Today, the president targeting India, declaring its exports would be hit with a 25% tariff. The president argued India's own tariffs are far too high and accused it of using other barriers he called strenuous and obnoxious. India will also face an additional unspecified penalty for its reliance on Russian energy. While critics have warned tariffs will weaken the U.S. economy, the White House welcomed some strong economic news. The economy grew 3%, higher than predicted in the second quarter. The president pointing to the latest data and re-upping his demand for the Fed to lower interest rates.
We have a lot of money coming in, and we have no inflation, and we're very strong, and we should be lowering the rates.
And another key economic barometer will be released Friday. The July jobs report could reflect the impact of the president's cuts to the federal workforce and his dramatic immigration crackdown. Garrett Hake, NBC News, Washington.
Heavy showers possible for the next few days. I'll show you what I'm tracking.
But first, a historic earthquake rattles Russia, triggering tsunami waves across the Pacific. Warnings stretching from Japan to America's west coast. That's up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Tsunami warnings for the U.S. coastline and Japan have been downgraded to advisories after a massive earthquake off Russia's far eastern coast put the region on high alert.
Tsunami waves hit the United States after the 8.8 magnitude earthquake, and the quake tied for the 6th strongest ever recorded. It triggered tsunami warnings from Russia to Japan to Hawaii and the U.S. west coast.
Yes, this is the largest earthquake we've had in over a decade worldwide. And it's among the top 10 earthquakes that have been measured by humans in the last century and a half. And so it's quite a large earthquake.
In the U.S., the tsunami waves hit shores in Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska overnight. Waves, some as high as 5 feet, were recorded on Maui's North Shore. And as warnings were downgraded across the U.S., officials from Hawaii to California saying the worst was over, but urging everyone to remain vigilant.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're bracing for some scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Cloudy conditions, but cooler on Friday. And then we're going to brace for things to really be cool going into the weekend. We're also under a flood watch. We'll talk about all of that coming up in your full forecast in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Right now, we're still dealing with the heat and humidity that's been problematic anyway, also causing complications with a lot of concerns about beach and a lot of the advisories that have been there. But in addition to that, we have a significant amount of rain. It's supposed to hit a short period of time on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. That's prompted concern for flash flooding. Yeah, it's been a bit of a turnstile here, but in Laurel, we're holding right now very muggy at 90 degrees. Dew point 76. Where we stand right now, cloud cover is relatively nice for us, but we're at 92 in Milton, 95 in Milford, 94 in Bridgeville, holding at 92 degrees right now in Georgetown, and 90 degrees proper in Laurel as well as Delmarva. Now, it feels like 107 right now in Seaford. It feels like 108 in Ocean Pines as well as Milton and in Redden. So we have more than our fair share of heat and humidity. It's still cranking right on up in the machine. It's just continuing to just click right along with that heat. So the muggy meter is still elevated for us for very humid to miserable going into Thursday. Now, Thursday afternoon, this is when we're watching, Thursday evenings, we're watching out for a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms that will drop us from miserable all the way down to comfy. That's a lot of rain. That's going to cool us off significantly. With that being the case, the dumping of the rain that we're expecting for Thursday has prompted the National Weather Service to issue a flood watch. This is for a flash flood watch. In other words, we're looking at possible runoff from heavy downpours expected to hit us in Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, according to the latest prognostics as it pertains to the amount of rain we're expecting. So we're looking at projections to staying pretty healthy for right now. And then for looking at the flood watch that stays in effect for Kent as well as Sussex all the way throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. And it even goes all the way up into basically the surrounding areas of Philadelphia. Highs for tomorrow will be 87 in Lewis and Rehoboth Beach, 90 in Georgetown. We're looking for a high of 91 degrees, not only in Federalsburg, but also in Vienna as well as Cambridge. Winds are going to be pushing out of the south and watching out for those isolated showers to pop off. Temperatures will be at 86 for the high in Ocean City, 89 in Snow Hill and Pocomoke City. Now, along the coast, it's kind of sketchy. It depends on where you are. For example, we're looking for afternoon thunderstorms in Lewis, not necessarily as much in Rehoboth. You see how spotty this is going to be for tomorrow? And then the winds are pushing out of the south, generally speaking, for everyone. But everyone should be in the 80s instead of the 90s for today. But even with that being the case for the coast, by Thursday afternoon, before the rain hits, look where we're going to end up. 100 for the heat index for us in Selbyville, 102 in Milton and Ellendale. And this is around the 2:30 hour, just after lunchtime. Then the rain will start pouring in here. Let's talk timing of those scattered showers. By Thursday evening, we'll see it begin to sweep through the area by 10 o'clock, and then we'll have the wind starting to pour out of the north. And other parts, we're looking for it to pull through very quickly for us late Thursday going into Friday morning. That bit of rain that's going to be a fast mover, expect to dump a tremendous amount of rain in a short period of time. But as far as the next 3 days are concerned, we're going to turn down that heat pretty steadily. 82 down to 77 in Chincoteague, where we had all the activity. And then we have Fenwick Island. We're looking for scattered showers Friday, early in the morning, and then it tapers off. And Saturday, we cool off into the 70s, won't be quite as active. And then for Lewis, we're looking at scattered showers on Thursday, staying cloudy on Friday in Lewis as well as Rehoboth Beach, temperature of low 80s, and then we will be in the upper 70s going into Saturday. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. Now, we are going to be a bit on the cool side. After we get through this rain on Thursday night going into Friday, Friday's going to be cloudy all day long, not much access to sunshine, and so we'll stay cool. But then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, look at where we end up, 62, 61, 63. I'd say that's legitimately on the cool side.
I think so. Thank you, Paul. Coming up tonight on DSN at 8:30, you can watch USSSA softball. Then it's the final score at 10:30 p.m.
We salute Henry Weber for his dedicated service in the U.S. Air Force, where he served with distinction in Thailand, Montana, and at Andrews Air Force Base. As an aircraft technician, Henry played a vital role in maintaining mission readiness across multiple assignments. He retired in the 1980s after more than 20 years of honorable service. His commitment and contributions to our nation are deeply appreciated.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
In business news, JCPenney has found a cash buyer for some of its stores. A Boston private equity firm, Onyx Partners Limited, they're planning to buy 119 stores for nearly $1 billion. All of the locations included in the deal are currently operational. This comes now 5 years after the store filed for bankruptcy. CoastTV News at 5 will be right back.
Here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. After the storms, we really cool off over the weekend.
All right, thanks, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, for more local weather, download that Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.